Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy Halus again. This is the triple O, not the UCE. Man, this video is gonna be hard for me to create because it's kind of heavy. It's probably the most heavy that I'm gonna get so far. I'm gonna get extra vulnerable with y'all. Um, let's start this off with another page out of this. I need this more than anybody right now. I need this more than anybody. Let's see if I can get some wisdom out of this. Maybe some consolement. Because that's what I need. And I'll get into that later after I finish reading this with my luxurious voice and my great oration. Number 3, devotion. That's a word that I can say. Make the crooked straight, make the straight to flow. Gather water, fire, and light. Bring the world to a single point. If we have devotion, total faith, and commitment to our spiritual path, our determination will naturally build momentum. Fewer and fewer obstructions will come before us. Our path becomes like a crooked one made straight. No matter what tries to keep us from our purpose, we will not be deterred. Proper devotion lies not simply in a headlong course, it also requires fortitude. Our bodies, our hearts, and our spirits must be totally concentrated upon what we want. Only by uniting all our inner elements can we have full devotion. If we see our path clearly, and our personalities are completely unified, then there is no distinction between the outer world and the inner one. Nothing is far away anymore. Nothing is not open to us. That is why it is said that the world is like a single point. So strong is devotion that there is nothing that is not a part of it. Wow. That's pretty insightful right there. Gains 1 point of insight from there. Life's a video game, remember that shit. Guys, I had a rough few days. I don't know if you can tell, but I look rough. Like there's like some red patching going on over here on my right eye. I don't know about my left eye. Maybe a little bit on my left eye. That usually happens because of stress. I've been stressing out. I got my dad out of jail. I was one of the only people that reached out to him because everybody else in the family is kind of pushing themselves away from him because, I don't know, it's the mistakes that he made. It is the mistakes that he made. Everybody, like, you don't go in jail for nothing, right? He got in jail for a fight with his brother, my uncle. And I wasn't there, so I don't have an opinion on who did what, but apparently the cops said that my dad won, and he won very convincingly to the point that the cops had enough to just book him and put him in jail. And he got put in jail, and he was in jail for about a month until 2 days ago, where he was out on good behavior. And this guy, my dad is a G, I'll tell you that much. He got in a fight in his first time in jail as a 50-year-old. He got in a fight, and he gets in a fight with some like tweaker twink, and he beats his ass. My dad is way taller than me. He's like 6'5". He's kind of heavy. He's letting himself go, that be said. But yeah, he won, and he got respect from the other inmates. They called him Kevin Nash, you know, that wrestler of the New World Order era in WWE, or was it WWF? I don't give a fuck. I'm a UFC guy. He tells me all his stories. When I take him out the pen, I serve him up some Waffle House. That's one of the only things that is open right now. It's early in the morning. The service was so spot on, man. Collin County got a good Waffle House. Man, that woman, that old like black lady that was serving us, man, like she had this warmth about her. I gave her a $10 tip. I just wanted to see her smile, man. There's some women that you just want to see smile. Hold on, let me steer in the right direction, all right? So my dad, yeah, he's out of jail, and we're trying to get his stuff back from his brother's place, my uncle. And my uncle's like very flustered about it. He's basically being told last minute, kind of, that, I showed up kind of without warning. I'm being done what I'm told. I'm doing what I'm being told. It kind of sucks that I have to be wrapped up in all of this, but I am, unfortunately. But I take as much stuff as I can. The only thing out of this item, the only thing that I couldn't find was his phone, was my dad's phone, and his charger. I got all the other 9 items out of 10. And yeah, that was the one that he really needed, looking back at the conclusion of this story. But we leave and we try to figure out what the next plan of attack is. He calls his VA attorney, and in the back of my head, my dad is thinking that this is gonna go out well for him and the VA is gonna take care of him. But I know for a fact that it don't matter how important my dad thinks he is. The VA sucks. And this country's government of the United States does not give a damn about the people that have served for keeping the country intact and its interests intact. So I already knew how this was going to plan out in my head. I was just keeping an optimistic veneer to kind of keep my dad going and to support him. You want to support your pops, especially in a very vulnerable moment. And my dad learning about Buddhism and Eastern philosophy is cool too. Him being a big proponent of Abrahamic culture and religious worldviews. So it's cool seeing him kind of dive into what I'm diving into ever since, he left. I go ahead and help him out again. I drive everywhere. I'm my dad's Uber pretty much. We go to the VA. We try to get him a spot, like some housing in there, because my dad has nowhere else to go. He's gonna be homeless if he doesn't get a place to stay here. And lo and behold, the VA does not have the ability to take him in because the hours of operation is from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, that's just like the government to have such selective hours to operate, especially in such a dire situation. Wow, well, like 8 to 2 is, let me do the math real quick. I'm not the math guy. 8 to 2. Hold on. Why am I doing this? This has gotta be the worst display of mental math you ever seen. All right, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 6 hours of operation out of 24 hours. You can't make this up. And in the back of my head, I already knew the answer was 6 hours, but I don't know. I'm tired. Okay, I'm tired. So don't cook me in the comments, okay? Don't cook me, all right? I had a long day. You can tell me on my face. Yeah, so we gotta go to this mission, union, gospel, whatever it's called. This place where homeless people go. And I take him over there. It's the last resort. And man, seeing him and the way he was right as I'm about to depart, and seeing his state and seeing his face and his demeanor kind of change and seeing the optimism get sucked dry from him really hurt. Like, it really hurt. And that's my dad. And I'm practically seeing him go homeless and without a community to be a part of, without a safe place to live and dwell. Hopefully he bounces back from this, but I drive away and it like just hurts and it irks my soul, man. It hurts because I'm seeing the destruction of a once great man right before my eyes. When I was much younger, this man was a stud, 6'5", handsome when clean shaven, and his hair not like mine. Like, he had his hair like military buzz cut, kind of suave, really suave looking guy. Fit as hell, physically capable. He could probably beat most people's ass. This guy was a freaking Scandinavian dude, bro. And to see him just self-destruct in front of my very own eyes, simultaneously while watching my country and my state self-destruct at the same time, it really does something to my psychology and my soul. And I can do one of two things. I can feed the bad wolf or the good wolf. You know this proverb, this Native American proverb, there are two wolves in our minds. There's a good wolf and a bad wolf, but depending on which one that you feed determines who wins. And I choose to feed the righteous wolf. I choose to feed Nightwolf, my favorite Mortal Kombat character. Hell yeah. And I really hope the best. I hope for the best, and he's come to terms with his own mistakes. One of the last phrases that he told me, or kind of just spoke out loud, is that everything that I have done, all my decisions have led up to this. Everything's my fault. And to see him finally recognize that, but at such a vulnerable and low state, it hurts. It really does. And I pray that none of you gotta go through that. I imagine some of you do. But yeah, I'm just spilling out a little bit of what happened today. It's a 2-day endeavor. I had to sleep in my car with my dad, basically talking about existential shit. And that one is about as lighthearted as you could imagine. And I'm left here today talking in front of this camera with the stoicism that you can perhaps see, and I'm just holding it all together. But everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be good. There's this Buddhist proverb that he was talking to me about. A student and a master talking about, I can't meditate because there's too many distractions. The student says to the master. The student finds eventually an environment where he can focus and be immersed in silence. It's in the middle of a lake, and he's meditating on a boat in the middle of the lake. But then, even then, eventually he gets disturbed by another boat that crashes into his own boat. But it's completely empty. There's nobody in it. And how he reacts, he's like, it's just an empty boat. Why was I bugging out? And then he eventually goes back to the baseline setting for all the other students to meditate, and he's at peace because it's all in his head how he reacts to what the distractions, the external sounds are. And that's what I choose to take this situation. It's how you react. It's how you take it personally. And my dad, despite all the decisions that he made to end up where he's at, he has taken all those steps to unveil an underlying lesson that I've been trying to teach him and other people have been trying to teach him, and he's learned it. And I pray that he comes out on top of this. I really do. I pray that there's a good ending to his story. And I pray there's a good ending to your story. If I have entertained you with my little diatribe, with my stream of consciousness, hopefully I didn't have too many verbal commas, too many long pauses. Please like and subscribe. I think that's the first time I actually asked. Please nicely like, subscribe, and maybe share to somebody else who likes this type of format of videos. Because I'm 6 videos strong. This is the 6th incense stick that we're gonna light. So, with that being said, it's been your boy, Halluce. Sometimes HALLUCE and sometimes HALOOZ. We out here. Peace out.